You're watching DCTV. Now here's your host, the voice, Dave Canning. It's you, it's me, it's DCTV. It's you, it's me, it's DCTV. Let's start the show.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. It is you, it is me, it is T, it is D, it is King Spaceman G. Hear ye.
Greetings, Earthlings! It is I, King of the Universe, Spaceman George, making my very first appearance on the Wrestling Nerd broadcast as your Royal Galactic Space King.
Welcome, George.
Welcome, George, to the broadcast.
I don't know how welcoming of a regime you really are, though, sir, because now we're finding out not only was Nick suspended last week for talking out against you, but now Ryan has been suspended for talking out against you. So I honestly don't know what kind of royal regime you're running here, but you're making me look like the greatest king of all time. And a lot of people said I sucked. So
off with their heads. If anybody goes against Spaceman George, it's off with their heads.
Yeah,
I am George. I am ruler of the broadcast.
Yeah.
Gerald is getting under you, huh?
And Space Lord, Captain of the Broadcast King.
But meanwhile, what?
Oh, hail George!
Your Highness, I have a question. Why are you in Nick's garage?
Nick is suspended. I will not tolerate the outburst that he had against the King of Space, Man George. So I have taken over his garage. I've moved in. I've stolen his family. Owen is my son now.
The Prince. Wow. Going after Owen. How dare you? JP's going to have some.
Nick will never,
JP is going to have
see
some
Nick on the
harsh
broadcast again.
Wow. I mean, it's bad enough that you showed up to All Out. Now I'm being forced to move, as you can see. My walls are bare, you know. So was my rug. But
so is my bottom.
To each their own. I'm not here to judge. But here on episode 88 of the Wrestling N.R.D. broadcast, there's one thing we might have to judge a little bit, and that is Pro Wrestling Illustrated's Top 500 has been released. Well, at least I know the top 10. I don't know the rest. I don't know the other 490 entrants. But we do have the list of the top 10. George, do you know the top 10?
Is it George?
It is not.
George?
It is not you. So I want to see if you can guess who number 1 is.
George will pick Roman Reigns.
Wow. Very good, George. You actually did something correct for once. That is right. Number 1 on the PWI Top 500 this year is the head of the table. Throw the ones up for Roman Reigns. We'll count down from 10 to 1, of course. Number 10, surprising to me, Jonathan Gresham. Number 9, Big E. Number 8, El Hijo del Vikingo. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Number 7, Bryan Danielson. Number 6, Cody Rhodes. Number 5, Bobby Lashley. Number 4, Hangman Page. Number 3, Phil Brooks, a.k.a. CM Punk. Number 2, Kazuchika Okada. And number 1, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. Now, this list we were talking about in our Patreon chat, patreon.com/WNRDB, with some mixed thoughts. I think the general consensus is that Roman Reigns is, in fact, number 1. Now, before anybody else judges this list, it does not go from January, like it's not 2022. Like it goes from June of 2021 to June of 2022, or just in that general area. Which is why you can see that CM Punk is listed so high. Hangman Page is listed high. Kazuchika Okada can, shoot snot rockets into the crowd, and it'll probably be a top 3 every year, just a guess. But of course, Roman Reigns, being the Universal title that entire time, unifying the Universal and World Heavyweight title, WrestleMania. I don't think he's lost a match. Of course,
1,000 days he hit.
Has he officially hit 1,000 days?
Yeah, they tweeted it this week.
Wow. No, there's no way it's 1,000 days. He just hit over 700, I think.
I think the tweet said 1,000, man.
I gotta look this up now.
I have
Maybe
Roman.
combined days between being the world champion and the universal champion. Maybe.
I don't know, but I could have sworn I saw a tweet that said it. And, if it's on Twitter, it's got to be real.
743 days.
Well, it
There
could
you
be
go.
like Goldberg and they're fluffing that jam.
No, August 30th, 2020. He won it like the week after SummerSlam, I think. Because they had like SummerSlam where he came back, and then they had like Backlash the following week.
I wonder if they're going to keep it on him for another year to hit that 1,000.
I think it's done at Mania. I mean, well, it depends. I have some theories on what can go on with that. I think they want to. I've heard rumors that they want to split the belts up. In which the only way you can legitimately do that, and I thought they would do it at Clash of the Castle, is you do a triple threat match in a 2 out of 3 falls.
Mm-hmm.
And so this way, Drew or Karrion Kross gets one of the titles, and then Roman keeps the other one. So his title, and he doesn't have to take a fall, but can still lose a belt.
Yeah.
But so obviously, like we said, Roman Reigns, number 1 right there. Kazuchika Okada was doing great things. I literally cannot remember who he fought at Wrestle Kingdom, and that's the only New Japan show I watch every year.
That seems like it was a
Was he Osprey?
I think so. I think. Yeah, I we can get into that if you want.
Was it Kota Ibushi?
I don't remember Wrestle Kingdom, and that's sad. It feels like a lifetime ago.
George has but one question.
What?
What number was Shane McMahon?
501, probably.
Nobody cares what Shane McMahon's number is. You hear that, Nick? No one cares about Shane McMahon.
The disrespect.
Wow.
I can't believe this. Like, folks, you thought I was a bad
It was
king.
0 because it didn't make the list.
You're a 0, George.
George is king of the world and space.
Like, what's with everyone winning the crown and then ducking the broadcast the following week? Like, you don't get vacation after you win. You got to go defend that thing. You got to go to work. You got to grab your lunch pail and put in your 8 hours, my man.
Did Mox is on the list, right?
Mox is not in the top 10, which is very surprising to me. Yeah, I there's a couple on here. So let's start. Let's work our way down. Roman Reigns, we all agree. Okada,
I don't agree.
You don't agree with what?
Roman Reigns.
Really? Who would you put at number 1?
I don't enjoy watching Roman Reigns wrestle. I think he's boring. He does a lot of the like walking around and like nothing happening. I don't love Roman.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's definitely in the top 10 for what he's done in the past year, like the past year of wrestling for sure. Like, I don't want to take anything away from him. I'm not invested in him, and it's very easy to get me invested in stuff. So
I think the problem with where they're at right now, it's obviously been over 2 years with him with at least one of the titles. More so not as much of a problem in the beginning. Because you assumed that he was going to at least get to WrestleMania with a title. He did that, beat Edge, beat Daniel Bryan, rack him and stack him, whatever his little catchphrase was there. And then you hear the rumor of they want to do Rock and Roman. And then you think to yourself, well, probably going to hold the title there. So I think the problem is for the next 6 months, whatever it is, he's not losing and you know it. So it's hard to invest in that right now. And so I can understand why you.
Best thing about him right now is Sami Zayn. And I haven't even been able to watch because of school. But like based off of Twitter, Sami Zayn is the best thing going on in wrestling right now.
He really is. Like literally Rikishi. So Friday Night SmackDown, they show Solo Sikoa in the ring, front and center with the Usos, with Sami. And Rikishi, the Usos, and Solo Sikoa's dad tweets out, so proud of my sons, so proud of all 3 of my sons, front and center on SmackDown. And Sami Zayn goes, it's almost like you got 4, am I right?
Like, that's brilliant.
He is.
Fun fact, George is actually Rikishi's father.
Rikishi did it for George.
So if Roman's not my number 1, my number 1's not even on the list.
Is it Moxley?
Not Moxley.
Is it Maki Ito?
I'm going men because I think the 500. This one's just men.
Oh yes, this is
Where's
yes.
Cody Rhodes at?
Cody Rhodes is number 6.
Okay.
I'm gonna say number 1, and I'm surprised he's not even on the top 10. I've got to give it to him, and it's Will Osprey.
I can understand that. I'll say this.
Him turning on Okada, United Empire was kind of annoying at first, and then they just took over.
Yep.
Like, and his leadership has been incredible. His promos are on point, and I don't think he's getting the credit he deserves. Because I think he should at least be on the top 10. Right this year, I think Will Ospreay has done more for me as far as like being surprised and pleased with his in-ring ability, his promos, all this stuff. But then again, it's also hard because it's June to June. Like, I have no idea what happened last year.
It is hard. I'll say this. I saw Will compete in October, and it's very like, especially with like the foreign guys. Like, I don't watch much New Japan. Like I said, I watch Wrestle Kingdom, but I don't like watch anything else that leads up to it. So I'd never really seen Will Ospreay. I'd heard all these great things. And I'd seen Rocky Romero. Obviously, I know, like, I've seen him like on Talking Shop and whatnot and stuff like that, and his occasional Impact Wrestling appearances. And it's like they scheduled it to be, it was Will Ospreay versus Rocky Romero. And I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a job match, whatnot. That was one of the greatest matches I've ever watched in person. Like, Will Ospreay is just a in-ring magician, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
So I would agree
he
that
doesn't hurt people every time he does that really fancy elbow strike.
Yep.
Blows my mind. How are
Yep.
people not dying? Like, I know it's all a work and this is, planned maneuvers, all this stuff, but like,
it's real to George, damn it.
I know, George. It just doesn't make sense to me. How is that like a thing?
Yeah, I'll say this. I believe that Will Ospreay should be on this list. I also believe John Moxley should be on this. Who's that?
You know who didn't make the list?
Who's that?
That crownless bum, Dylan Shivers.
He'll be back one day.
That's such an awful laugh, George.
You know who else should be on this list, honestly? If you're going from June to June, Matt Cardona deserves to be on this list, I think. I think he deserves a top 10 spot. And that's not me trying to suck up or anything, like, oh, come on the show. Of course, we'd love to have you on here, Matt. But I genuinely think with what he did with that summer in GCW, the match at Hammerstein, a lot of people say it was overbooked. I thought it was fun to watch and entertaining. Like, they pay homage to things beautifully, I think, in a comical yet serious manner at the same time.
I'm not the biggest Matt Cardona fan.
Mm-hmm.
He absolutely should be a top 10 because of what he did in the past year of popped up in AEW, nothing happened, took things in his own hands and really changed, like, oh, wait, what's going on here? Like, Matt Cardona's wrestling Nick Gage. Matt Cardona's the GCW champion. Matt Cardona, right? He was GCW champion for a minute. Yeah, Matt Cardona,
like 2 months, I think,
bringing really fun stories to a neglected wrestling promotion.
Yep.
And I love GCW. I've really started to enjoy what they do recently. I get why it's not everyone's thing. And I think him bringing his personality, which is truly one of a kind, like Matt Cardona truly has a one of a kind personality. It's a shame. I'd love to see him feud with MJF because they're both assholes. And it would be so fun to watch them just degrade each other and put themselves over. So yeah, I agree. Matt Cardona, absolutely. Top 10. I will die on that hill, and I hate that I'm saying that.
And I wouldn't there's two different levels of what I'm about to say, but I would almost say in a way that Matt Cardona is to this current time in wrestling as the Young Bucks were like 5 to 7 years ago. Like showing that you don't need to be in WWE to be successful. Now
Yep.
Cardona's doing it with two major promotions out there and is killing it. Like he's been in GCW, NWA, he's been all Impact Wrestling, he's been all over.
Yeah.
So I genuinely think that Matt Cardona deserves a nod at the top 10. I believe I was told he was in the top 20.
Okay.
So
That's
I mean, I'll give him that. But like I look at
fair.
this and I think to myself like Bobby Lashley, like Jonathan Gresham, Big E, even. I mean,
That was hard for me.
again, I mean, I know you love Big E. I look at this, and again, you got to go June to June, and I don't remember when exactly he broke his neck. Was it before Mania or after Mania?
I could grab a computer.
I think
don't know.
but it was in that area. But if you look back, so you go back to Money in the Bank, which was what, July, about July
Yeah.
of last year. Oh, excuse me, I'm so tired. Packing up is killing me. But so if you go from his Money in the Bank win to July, he obviously gets that push throughout. Then he becomes the champion in November. He fights Roman Reigns in a great match at Survivor Series. Unfortunately, comes out on the losing end of that. Then day one, Roman has COVID. He's got to sit out. So they add Brock Lesnar to that. He's got to he drops the title there. So he definitely, I think, had a good run. Like I'll say this, I'm able to map out kind of generally what Big E did over the last 12 months. Whereas Lashley, he beat Austin Theory for the U.S. title at some point. He fought Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble, I think.
Bobby Lashley does not deserve to be on the list.
No, I'd give him top 20 again.
I don't know.
I think he was relevant. I think he was booked decently.
I think if we're going WWE guys to replace Bobby Lashley, we've got to put Seth Rollins in that mix.
Yep, I would
Seth Rollins'
agree
new
with that.
character is so brilliant. There's no reason why because he's not on the top 10, right?
No, he's not. Seth Rollins lost 3 straight matches to Cody Rhodes and is still he's still a threat. You know, he was able to lose 3 pay-per-views in a row. You know.
Yeah.
Cody, I'm sorry, I wanted to go back to Punk. Punk, I completely agree. In about he's a top 10 guy. I know we all have some mixed emotions on what happened with the media scrum, but if you look from again June to June,
prior to media scrum, great things.
Yep.
I don't think he should be that. He should be in the top 10. I don't think he should be that high in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's like a 7 through 10.
I'd honestly put Hangman higher than him.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
just me. Because you look at Hangman, it's all about that build. They had the All-Star game 5-on-5 where the elite were the Monstars. And they had that epic entrance where you don't need a hat to be a cowboy with the Dark Order and Hangman, where if they won, Dark Order got tag title shots. If not, Hangman had to give up a shot. And then obviously that when he won the title at Full Gear, it's just magic. The title reign a little underwhelming, people say, but I think it was great. You know, he had those great matches against Bryan Danielson, those great matches against Lance Archer, Adam Cole. So I think, you know, he definitely had a great year. Bryan Danielson, I think, had a great year as well. Obviously, he was gone. You know, if you're going June to June, he was gone from June to August because he didn't show up till All Out. But even in that time, he had that 5-star banger against Kenny Omega at Grand Slam.
That match made you feel things physically.
As somebody that was there, like literally everybody in the room was like we all knew this is something special. And I'm watching the clock. Like I'm like, holy crap, it's like close to 8:30. This could be a draw. And people like, oh man, I didn't think of that. I'm like, it's probably gonna be a draw. And we're like, no, don't be a draw. And it wound up being a draw. But I got to meet JP that night, so it was okay.
Yeah, I mean that start to that match where they just stood there
Yep.
was so. It was important for them, I'm sure, to sit in that for a minute. But I think it was really important for the fans to be able to process, holy crap, this is about to happen.
Yep.
And for all intents and purposes, that match should have never been able to happen. So, yeah, kudos to him.
Like I don't want to put them on the same pedestal as Hogan and The Rock just yet, but it had that feeling. Like everyone in the room, like they rang that bell, and you're like, okay, like who's gonna come and just ruin this? Like I'm waiting for like Vicky Guerrero to just come out, excuse me, and be like, no. But
Who's sitting right next to you?
the wait, what?
I said she was sitting right next to you.
Oh yeah, sure. And she'll be sitting next to me on Dynamite at a Grand Slam next week as well, or tomorrow night technically. But yeah, it was just you could feel it. You could feel the excitement. I mean, obviously the atmosphere of Grand Slam, their first show in New York, it definitely helped there. Kenny, I'm curious to see where Kenny ranks.
He was gone for like the whole year.
Yeah, I mean, well, again, you put him June to November. That's a solid 6 months where he was still the belt collector for a couple months in there.
Oh,
He was the Impact champion. He was the AAA or AAA champion. I like to say it like that. And of course the AEW champion. Lost the Impact title to Christian at the very first episode of Rampage. I think it was the first match on Rampage they ever had. And then obviously he lost the AEW title to Hangman. I don't know where he lost the AAA title. Maybe he's still that champion. I don't know. Let's see. El Hijo de Vikingo. Anybody in the comments, please let me know who this man is. I looked at some pictures, never recognized him. I think he's in AAA, but again,
I've seen him do a couple matches. I think if you're not following AAA, I think you would, and it would make sense to be like, who is this? He's got a cool look.
Yeah.
I feel like if Spaceman George went to Mexico to wrestle, Hijo de Vikingo, someone that with that look would be Spaceman George's partner.
Yes, me and the Space Viking go way back.
I'd be rooting for the Viking.
Imagine
this is officially the George Cave.
Kick me while I'm down. Kick me while I'm down.
It's crazy because like the George Cave has all this stuff in it.
Yes. This is now my stuff. This is not Nick's stuff. This is George. As king, it's mine.
Listen, pal. Like Tony Storm's title, you're interim in that room, pal. Okay? Yeah, you heard me.
Tony Storm.
Tony Storm. And then Jonathan Gresham on this list. I mean, again, ROH guy, technical wrestler. He's great. I couldn't map out what the heck happened with him. I know, obviously, he was supposed to have that match with Bandito at Final Countdown. I think it's called, right? I think that was supposed to be the show. Wound up fighting
Final
Jay
Battle?
Lethal. Final Battle, that's it. Final Countdown's a great song by Europe. Final Battle. And we're gonna get flagged now. We're gonna get flagged. I'm talking so they can't hear that. I'm gonna talk very loud so they can't hear that song. Shut up!
George.
I will get the tape out.
Wait, real quick. Is the new King of England also named George?
Yes. I'm not going to say that is George with his mask off.
No, isn't it Charles?
I don't know.
Charles, you morons.
All right,
Charles.
Well, it's George is king of all of space.
King George is George is Kate Williams' son. He will eventually one day be king.
Oh.
But a lot of people got to kick the bucket first.
Would that make him Rikishi's grandfather?
He's the intercontinental. He's the intercontinental prince right now. He's on the lower card right now.
So, real quick, we were joking about how funny it would be if there was a pope in outer space called the Astro Pope, the intergalactic priest. It's George.
I am also the Pope of space. Yes,
Spaceman George, the intergalactic priest.
Pope, King, the intergalactic King Pope of space.
Who invited this guy? You're such a clown.
This is my favorite iteration of George.
King George.
George needs to be dethroned. I'm just saying. George, you better hope that you're not there at WrestleMania when I cash in that briefcase. I'm just saying.
George was great when he was nice, but George being cranky and like arrogant is just too much, and I love it. King George, I bow down to your greatness.
Thank you. Bow to King George and his space greatness.
Yes, and his team of commanders that actually showed up on Sunday.
George is a commander.
Not something to be proud of there.
George has a motorboat now.
Oh, jeez, brother.
A motorboat, Lando.
No more rowing for George. I have people that do that for me now.
No, brother.
Dylan Shivers needed a job.
There you go. Dylan Shivers is rowing the gondolas in Vegas right now. He's in somebody's backyard. So yes, let us know your thoughts on the PWI top 10 thus far. Let us know who you think should be in, who you think should be out. I think Mox should be in. I think Cardona should be in. I think Gresham should be out. I think Lashley should be out. I don't even know who the Viking man is. So you know what? Let Lashley stay and take out the Viking because I have no idea who he is.
I'd want to spend time really thinking who I think had the best year.
I think it's Roman Reigns. He's been on top. He hasn't lost.
I hear you.
I think it's me. I think I should be number one.
And pick our top 500. We'll film it. We'll videotape the whole thing.
Yeah.
No.
Start at 500 and we'll work our way.
No. It's bad enough we do the brawler list every year.
Oh, God.
I'm not doing a top 5. I don't even think I could list 500 wrestlers, honestly.
Let's do it.
Like, there's got to be a lot of people on. Like, if I don't know who El Hijo del Vikingo is, there's going to be a lot of people on that list.
One man gang. George the Animal Steel. Andre the Giant.
Are you listing 500?
Ultimate Warrior.
He's listing the roster from WrestleFest 1991. Like, good grief, my man.
George is a secret character. You have to beat everybody.
You beat everybody and then press AABB, ABB, 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 and you get George's unlockable character in WrestleFest. But as I mentioned, Bryan Danielson sits at the list at number 7. I believe Mox should be in that top 10. But those two are going to compete at AEW Grand Slam for the vacant All Elite Wrestling Championship. I used to have it right here, but it
belongs to George now.
It's not here anymore because I'm out of here. So who do we think wins that? Because it's British Combat Club. Oh, I'm sorry, not British. Blackpool Combat Club versus Blackpool Combat Club. Who do we think wins? George, who do you think wins between Mox and Bryan?
The fans.
I will be there.
George thinks that it doesn't matter because MJF is just going to be champion soon.
Tom, your thoughts?
It all depends on how long they want to wait until MJF is champion.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they're going to go into the new year, we'll say the New Year show, whatever it is, and change championship, that's a couple months. That could be, I think Danielson could do a very good job with a short 3 to 5 month reign. If we're looking getting that title on MJF quickly, Mox has to win. I think Mox versus MJF does make more sense because MJF has not really said anything about Danielson.
Mm-hmm.
It's all been on Mox, so I won't be surprised if Mox wins. would really love it if Danielson wins. But I'm gonna go with Mox wins, and then within 2 months, MJF is champion. If not that night. Because I think that match is going to physically destroy Mox and Danielson.
So this is my prediction for it. First of all, anybody that's watching this that will be at Grand Slam, let me know in the comment section below because I'm going to be at Grand Slam. I would love to meet anybody and everybody that watches this show. I know the Macho Verse is going to be there. I don't know if JP is going to be there.
I think he is.
George will be there. George
will you, George? Will you, George?
Talk to George. George does not communicate with commoners.
George,
royalty, king of space.
George, maybe I need
not speak to you.
George, you're lucky that I'm now a man of my word because I said that I would wait till WrestleMania to cash in that briefcase. But maybe, just maybe, I need to bring that briefcase with me to Arthur Ashe Stadium.
George has a very luxurious skybox.
Yeah. Nobody cares about you, George. Nobody. But my prediction is this. I know that they said that Mox was supposed to go on a vacation after All Out. F you, George. Okay, I said it. Yeah. You want to fight about it?
Yeah.
Don't fight.
It's a wrestling show. We're supposed to. But so my prediction is this. This is because, like you said, you can't put the belt if they're going to if MJF is going to cash in, which they still haven't fully explained. Like if he can just cash in whenever he wants. But I believe in the promo he cut last week, it's like he gets a title match whenever he wants. So I'm going to take that as it's basically Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
So I think that if you do put it on Bryan, you can't cash in right away because like then it just turns out to be like his WrestleMania 30 run, like where he just kept getting shortchanged all the time, and it's not a good look. So instead, you put the title on Mox, wild things playing, and was like, hey, yeah, and then all of a sudden, the whatever the firm or whatever they call them attacks him. They can take out the rest of the British. The Blackpool Combat Club, if Utah's there, Regal. I could just literally just picture Stokely Hathaway just stomping away on Regal in the corner and
like
like
give
flexing.
Morrissey a way to look good.
Yes. And then MJF comes in, cashes in the poker chip, and boom. And then this way it gives you Mox is written off TV. He can go on his vacation. And then he can come back in late October, early November for Full Gear. And there you go. And then you can set up for Danielson versus Mox. Or you can even have Danielson eventually take the belt off MJF. So,
I don't think Danielson needs a belt.
No, I don't think so either. But I think it's going to be a fun because I remember their feud at Revolution earlier this year was like, if you want to fight together, first we have to bleed together before we can wrestle together. And I'm like, well, they've already bled, so now they can just have a good old fashioned technical showing at Grand Slam.
Nah, they're just gonna beat the shit out of each other.
They are, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah,
like make it a triple threat. Throw Eddie Kingston in there. Just throwing haymakers.
Throw Claudio in.
Make it a fatal 4-way. Oh, those two hate each other. Give Eddie Kingston a Ring of Honor world title shot at Grand Slam Rampage.
Yep. Remember when I said my bottom's bare? Ooh, pasty thighs.
Dang, Tom. Usually got to pay extra for those thighs.
Just trying to get subscribers.
The more you subscribe, the more leg Tom shows. Just saying, folks.
Only nerds.
Only nerds. That is correct. So yes, let us know who you think will win between Mox and Danielson at at Dynamite Grand Slam. Again, if you're there, I'm there. Say hello. It'll really impress my girlfriend.
George is here. Don't say hello.
Nope. We'll say hi. I'll let you know that Tom says hi, folks.
Yeah, don't say hi. I say hi.
Come say hello to me. And then I'll let you know that Tom has said hi.
Tell Dave that I say hi.
As loud as possible. Just don't scare my girlfriend or Margaret or Kathleen for that matter.
Scare all three of them and just scream at Dave. Tom says hi while running at him with a machete.
Oh, jeez, please. Good luck getting a machete in. But also, speaking of getting in and getting out, I'm getting out of the Dave Cave, ladies and gentlemen. I'm moving because of George and Gerald. So way to go, guys. But that will bring us to our top 3 Tuesday this week as we're going with wrestlers that have moved from one company to another. How do you like that? So, George, do you want to go first or do you want to go last?
George will go first.
You're going to go first. Okay.
Yes, because I'm king of space and earth and everything in between. Well, George is going to pick himself for every category, but there's no fun in that. So George will actually take this seriously.
Oh, boy.
George's first pick is going to be a 2-pack of Kevin Nash and Scott Steiner in their street clothes as the Invasion Outlaws, the Outsiders.
Excuse me,
like
King.
George is
Excuse
the
me,
outsider
King.
of this broadcast.
Excuse me, King. Excuse me, King. Excuse me, King. You're so lucky that Ryan Crossley has been suspended because he would come through your screen right now and choke you out because you said Kevin Nash and Scott who?
Scott Hall.
You said Steiner.
You said Steiner.
Steiner,
Yeah.
Hall. Well, Scott Hall has an 83% chance of kicking ass if he multiplies by 1.
George, he's dead. He has no chance.
George is very sorry. George did not know about the news of Scott Steiner's death.
No, Scott Hall's dead.
Oh
my God.
Scott Hall. Yes. Well, has anybody actually seen Scott Hall? Because
he's dead.
He can still be. What about Razor Ramon?
Also dead.
Oh,
George, move on. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash and Scott Steiner. We're gonna go with debut Chris Jericho on Monday Night Raw as my number 2.
All right.
And then George's number 3. Jump from company to company. Let's see.
Are you kidding me?
George chooses
George.
Sure it's not Dylan Shivers because he ain't never been on TV.
Wow.
If Nick was here, I sure know who he'd pick.
Oh, we don't care about Shane McMahon. Who is Shane McMahon?
One of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
Shane McMahon.
George, for his 3rd wrestler, he picks Lex Luger on Monday Night.
Oh, you son of a biscuit!
Coming out with his shirt.
Puffy shirt, yes.
His puffy shirt, like Gangrel.
Boo.
Yeah, so it's George's picks. We have Kevin Nash and Scott Steiner. We have Chris Jericho. We have Lex Luger with his puffy shirt.
Fair.
Scott Hall may or may not be dead, but Razor Ramon lives forever.
Wow. Tom, you're up.
Yeah.
Good luck topping that.
Yep. Number 1 for JP, Maki Ito. She has jumped from promotion to promotion and wrestled all over the place. So we will get a Maki Ito brawler. She is the queen of piss and shit.
George needs a queen.
Yeah, it'll never happen, George.
Oh my.
Number 2 should come as no surprise. The man himself, Doink the Clown. He wrestled in ECW, I think, for a minute.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if it was the original, but somebody.
Yeah, but it's a character, so we'll take.
Somebody dressed as Doink the Clown.
We'll take a Doink the Clown brawler. Number 3. I have a tie for number 3.
Oh boy.
Either Jushin Liger, because he did WWF, WWE, WCW, and New Japan.
Okay.
Or Ultimo Dragon.
Ooh.
Those are 2 I'd really like to see. As I have both of their masks.
George also.
Umaki Ito, Doink the Clown, and one of either Liger or Ultimo Dragon.
Okay, solid
That's
picks
a good.
there.
That's a good top 3.5.
I'm going to go with. I just had a third one. I lost it. Who do we say we're gonna go? So the first one we go with is Rick Rude, who showed up on, I believe it was Raw and Nitro at the same time. Because like I guess Raw was taped and like he had a full beard and then showed up on Nitro in with just a mustache. He goes, "Oh, what a difference a day makes."
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I'm going to go with Hulk Hogan showing up in WCW when he was sitting in the back of the car. But I want the brawler sitting in the car. Like I want the car and the brawler all one piece. I want that golden era age, baby. And then number 3, my man, Cody Rhodes. I want the WrestleMania entrance because I love that jacket. That red, white, and blue and gold jacket. I love it. Or heck, have it as a chase where the jacket comes off and Bruce Peck. Boom.
Boom. One bruised booby.
There you go. Living the dream. So yes, let us know your favorite, your top 3 in the comment section below. Of course, join us on Patreon, patreon.com/WNRDB, and you get plenty of rewards. Again, Slammers Pogs coming, I promise. It is 10:41 Miami time in the PM here.
Nope, 11:41.
What'd I say, 10:41? Yikes, I can't read. So yeah, join our Patreon, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at WNRDB, the Wrestling Nerd Broadcast. Check out our merchandise, ProWrestlingTees.com/the Wrestling Nerd Broadcast, and that's nerd spelled NRD. Usually I point to the hat or the shirt that's back here, but it had to be packed up because I'm moving, George. Way to go. Of course, like this video. Leave a comment if you like the video. If you don't like the video, just leave a comment. Just put your name in the comment section below. Just to anything works.
Say something nice about George.
Don't say something nice about George. I'll still approve the comment.
Off with your head.
Come at me, bro. Come at me, George. So yes, comment below. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Buy some merchandise on ProWrestlingTees.com. Join our Patreon. Like us on all the platforms and social media. And of course, tell your mother you love her every day because like Kevin Durant said, Mom, you're the real MVP. Good night, everyone. Farewell from the Dave Cave. God bless America.
And all hail King George.